Hey guys, so back in late December I talked to you all about how we were basically done with the pig who wants to be eaten. I went to replace it with some other stories, but as you know, since then there's been a lot of stuff going on. Today actually, when you're watching this video, I will have done 5 different videos across 4 different channels. But I just wanted to talk to you all and reassure you that yes, we are going to be getting to more stories. This is one of the things I'm most enthusiastic about altogether. And just so that this wasn't an absolute nothing, we are going to read another one. Why not? I'm going to read you another story from the pig that wants to be eaten called The Hole in the Sum of the Parts. But yes, progress is being made to find other things for us to read. If you guys have suggestions, I'm still open to them. I'd actually like to have multiple different things running on the channel. But the other cool thing I did want to talk to you about as well is the fact that my Oculus Rift came. And how I'm going to handle doing content on that, I'm not sure, because that, again, is a whole other thing I'm very, very excited about. And I'm actually installing Elite Dangerous as I record this video. And once upon a time, I thought Concrete Ducks was going to be the place where I do most of that stuff. But now I'm thinking maybe not, since we've kind of got this rolling on, so I'm really, really not sure. So if anyone's still sticking around for that, because, you know, if we rewound the clock 365 days, there would be some people expecting that. Just wanted to be clear that probably Oculus Rift stuff won't appear too much here, but who knows. The very least you'll see is on my main channel, I'm going to be covering a very certain MMO using the headset to kick things off. But anyway, let's get into another pig that wants to be eaten. Hang in there, guys. And we will be back to regular uploading shortly. So here we go. It's called The Hole in the Sum of the Parts. Barbara and Wally jumped into the taxi at Oxford Station. "We're in a hurry," said Barbara. "We've just done London and are heading to Stratford-upon-Avon this afternoon. So please, could you just show us the university and then bring us back to the station?" The taxi driver smiled to himself, set the meter running, and looked forward to receiving a big fare. He took them all round the city. He showed them the Ashmolean and Pitt Rivers museums, as well as the Botanic Gardens and the Museums of Natural History and the History of Science. His tour took in not only the famous Bodleian Library, but the lesser-known Radcliffe, Sackler and Taylor libraries too. He showed them all 39 colleges, as well as the 7 permanent private halls. When he finally pulled up at the station, the meter showed a fare of £64.30. "Sir, you are a fraud," protested Wally. "You showed us the colleges, the libraries, and the museums, but damn you, we wanted to see the university." "But the university is the colleges, libraries, and museums," replied the indignant cabbie. "You expect us to fall for that?" said Barbara. "Just because we're American tourists doesn't mean we're stupid." And that's the end of the story. The source is Chapter 1 of The Concept of Mind by Gilbert Ryle Hutchinson, 1949, apparently. I do hope you guys enjoyed the accents there. So here's the discussion. The reputation American tourists have in Britain for being loud, brash, and stupid is somewhat unfair. For one thing, how many Brits would like to be judged on the basis of how our holidaymakers behave on the Costa del Sol? This vignette is not intended as an attack on Americans, but as a striking example of a form of fallacious thinking that even the smartest minds fall foul of. Barbara and Wally have made what the Oxford philosopher Gilbert Ryle called a category mistake. They have thought of Oxford University as though it were the same kind of thing as the colleges, libraries and museums which comprise it, an institution housed in a specific building. But the university is not that kind of thing at all. There is no one place or building which you can point to and say, that is the university. It is, as the taxi driver rightly said, the institution to which all those particular buildings and parts belong. But that does not mean that the university is a ghostly presence that mysteriously unites all the colleges, libraries, and other parts of it. To think that would be to make another category mistake. It is neither a single material nor immaterial thing. We should not be misled by language and assume that because it's a singular noun, it is a singular object. Ryle thought that the most common way about thinking of the mind made a similar category mistake. Again, we have a singular noun, the mind, and so we tend to think there must be a singular thing which the noun labels. If we think that, though, we end up with one of two absurdities. Either we conclude that the mind is the brain, which is absurd because brains have mass and volume, but thoughts have neither, or we conclude that the mind must be some immaterial entity, a ghost in the biological machine that is our body. We can avoid the need to offer either of these implausible answers once we recognize that the mind is not a single object at all. To say something has a mind is to say it wants, desires, understands, thinks, and so on. Because we do all these things, we say we have minds. But that does not require us to identify any object as being the mind. This is no more mysterious than the claim that a university is that which has colleges, libraries, and so on, even though there is no object which is the university. It's a neat solution to an age-old problem. Whether or not it really does solve, or perhaps dissolve, the problem of mind, the concept of the category mistake is a useful guard against some confusing features of language and features of the world. I picked this story today because I particularly enjoyed this as someone who studied language, not literature, not text or anything, but language, the way it's constructed, the way it shapes our perspective on the world. I really like that story. I think it sums a lot of things up. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Thanks very much for checking out and listening. But until next time, guys, which hopefully shouldn't be too far off, as soon as I get my ducks in a row, have a good evening, everyone.